Hello, everyone. We are live now. Great to have you on this show. Great to have you connecting everywhere around the world. You're all welcome. You are esteemed viewers. We appreciate you and we do not take this lightly. We do not take it for granted. We appreciate your timing joining us on this show. And likewise, I have a special guest with me today. I will be bringing up on stage. But before I do that, I'd like to say, and just, in 2 minutes, just explain what this show is all about, what we're trying to paint, and what message we're trying to put out in the world for everyone to see or know. Congratulations on your journey to making a difference with me. I am so excited you're getting on this journey with me. We're all in this journey together. We can become that change agent we're all called to be. I'm on this show, Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh. We train, we teach, we mentor, we coach on how we can become better versions of ourselves in the area of our finances, our business, our career, our leadership skills, and relationships. We learn from other people's stories, life experience, to be good managers of bad experience in order for us to be able to get to the next level. I mean, those who have gone ahead of us, so we can ride on the experience to avoid the same pitfalls they fell in time past, and also soar to our goals faster and become better versions of ourselves. Making a difference includes being financially okay, doing great on all fronts of life, all business fronts, doing spiritually, physically, and mentally okay. And today we have a special guest with us. Camille is her name. That before I go in, I like to read a biography, some information that we have about her. She's a seasoned entrepreneur, and we'd like to just share a little about her. Cam is a successful business professional with a passion for leveraging the unique lessons she had learned throughout her career and life experiences. She empowers individuals and organizations to unleash untapped potential and gain confidence to accomplish desired goals through coaching, training, teaching, and motivational speaking techniques. As someone who has worked hard to identify her strengths, Camille knows the impact firsthand. The result shows that she has successfully navigated her career, beginning in an entry position in the financial world to having accomplished senior financial roles over multiple years. Calm expert background in learning and development influences her to design and specifically tailor the content of her lectures to connect with our audience genuinely and effectively, purposefully. As a life and a business strategist, Calm realizes everyone is unique and is adaptable in our approach to coaching businesses and individuals. She understands life is a journey and not a destination. She compels her, and which compels her to support others to become the world-class leaders and the best versions of themselves they desire to be in life. Instead, she envisions our purpose as journeying with others, seeking to redefine and develop from their current stage to where they want to be. Calm, affectionate personality and empathy for others derived from our own breed Jamaica Island roots. She inspires people wherever she goes. She takes opportunity to relax and unwind. She travels broadwide shows or spending quality time with her family while indulging in a home cooked meal with music resonating in the background. Our mantra is to execute, empower, and excel in whatever she does. She stands out. She's already on stage. I was meant to take her off stage, but she's already here. She's hearing. So, Cam, it's time for you to take up the stage and tell us. Our audience like to meet with you. They like to know you better. Yes, I've just only read your biography, but it's better to hear from the horse's mouth themselves.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra, for having me. I'm really honored by this opportunity. And hello to our viewers. It's my pleasure to share with you this evening. So, with all that Sandra has said, my life in a nutshell is I'm a mom of twins, middle schoolers, and Sandra and I met through a John Maxwell mastermind, so full circle. In the daytime, I'm also a business analyst with a Fortune 500 in corporate America. I'm fortunate to be a Girl Scout troop leader as well. And in my local Westchester County, New York, I sit as a committee member on the African American Advisory Board, where I have the wonderful opportunity of working alongside and partnering with our local policymakers as it relates to transforming and really uplifting our African American community. So I'm very excited about service. Service is the grassroots of pretty much why I wake up every day. I found that I was doing it naturally before someone identified that my purpose is in service. And I say that because, you know, in the daytime when I'm in at my job, I'm in a boardroom. We're fussing, we're fighting, we're tugging. It's pretty aggressive, but off the job, I often hear people say to me, are you a nurse? Do you do anything that serves people because you're so tender hearted? And I find that people would naturally come to me and just have conversations or just pour out. And
Oh,
in one of my mentoring conversations, I had this situation on the job and it was HR related, which is why it will lead into how now I'm really passionate about coaching. And I was talking to one of my mentors who was a more senior executive to me at the time. And I was going in guns blazing, and I was within my right, all right, HR right. And I thought I had it all together, clipboard notes, everything. And she sat and she looked at me and she smiled because I'm ready to go talk to HR. And she just looked at me and she said, but that's not your calling. Your job is not to go to HR. You're a woman of faith. Did you think that this is the purpose to catapult you to do something beyond your day job? You are here for this purpose here and now. It's not about HR, it's about why you're positioned for this issue so that you can be the role model to someone else. And I tell you, my mouth fell to the floor because sometimes you realize that someone has to take a hit so that a broader transformation can occur. And I didn't see myself as the one who was taking the hit. And when she said that to me, I realized that my mission was bigger than just talking about numbers and having board meetings, because when I thought about my calling, people would naturally come to me and ask me for advice or ask for a whisper. I'd get a text message at 10 o'clock in the night. Can we talk? Can we talk? I have this issue, not work related. And I couldn't fight it anymore. It's that gut feeling where you just have to launch out. So, you know, what I do now is I go out and I really empower, especially women, you know, career women over 30s, whoever needs a conversation about stepping out and standing in their own skin. And for I build my platform on resilience. How do you find your purpose through that passion or your purpose through the pressing? And full circle, that is where I stand. That's the grounding that I stand on, you know, the passion and the purpose and the pain.
thank you so much. That was mind blowing. Yeah, with leadership is service, leadership is influence. And
Hmm.
this influence, you have to know which type of influence. They could be positive, they could be negative. But we
Right.
are talking about positive influence, influencing your word. And that's what we are doing right now. I actually met with you at the mastermind, and I think when you spoke, your story resonated with me. And I quickly chatted and I said, after the mastermind, I may never get to meet with you again if I don't have your full details. So that was why I quickly sent a mail, connecting with you. And I just believe with God, there are no mistakes with God.
Hmm.
And things are not done accidentally. There is always a purpose when two people come together. And that's the reason why, I had to invite you. Your story also resonated with me. And that growth is not accidental, growth is intentional. And
Hmm.
a lot of time we'll go through bad experiences in life. They're actually meant to move us to our destiny, to our goals. But a lot of times the way we respond to these experiences either leave us to be better or bitter. Just like you said, you've been able to manage your experience. It is either they limit you or they move you forward to growth. So every time you see yourself asking for more, looking for more, wanting more, check, it's something you're growing. You're wanting more. You're
Mm-hmm.
living where you are. You're not staying in your comfort zone, but you're actually striving to get to where you ought to be, being better versions of ourselves. And that's what life is all about. He said, when a man stops thinking, when a man stops seeking for knowledge, the man is as good as being, you could term the person to be dead,
Right.
because what is he living for? What
Right.
is he living for? So we always, as human, aspire for more knowledge, more to know more, to become better. And that's why I said we are all change agents. God
Mm-hmm.
did not create anyone empty. Everyone has got virtues in them. Everyone has got talent in them. So everyone has got something. No one is made empty.
That's
We
right.
all have something else. And I want to find out, what prepared you? You said you worked in the financial industry
Mm-hmm.
already. You've spoken the reason why you had to venture into coaching, because of you seem to attract people come to you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, your purpose, people get to see what you are, your true
Mm-hmm.
personality. I have the same thing too. When I get into and speak with people, they get attached to me. They want to be my friend for life. And I just, I want, they don't want to leave me. They want to have my number. And I said, what's it all about? Some people will tell you my number is private. And I'm like, what private? If you're not there to touch lives.
Right.
Because if you keep your number private, how would people reach out to you? And
Right.
how would you be able to touch lives?
That's right.
We are all public figures. We are all servants. We are all influencers for the Lord. We're influencing men and women to become better versions. And how do we do that? How would people reach us? If we're not
Mm-hmm.
approachable, how would people reach out to us?
That's
How
right.
would you be able to impact your world?
That's
Like
right.
John Maxwell, I would tell you, is an humility personified person. If you're looking for somebody humble, that 75-year-old man is humility. That's his name.
Absolutely.
You will
Ab-
never believe he has $1 million company. John Maxwell will eat with you in the same place, sit with you, talk with you, and you would not know that he is that kind of person.
right.
There is no aura of pride in him. There's no aura of class or anything. He's indeed a father. And I'm sure that's why he's standing out to be the foremost leader in leadership everywhere in the world. He's written over 100
Over a hundred.
books, and people are still following him. I attended a transformational event. That's the IMC you are yet to go for.
Yeah.
It was so transformational. And I guess I want to let you know, even in the midst of COVID, people were still greeting themselves. He is a man of faith. I will let you know that there were over 6,000 people there. And we were able, I left my bag and everything I brought because I couldn't be moving my stuffs all about. But you could tell that we are people of like mind in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was missing. Nobody took anybody's phone. Nothing was missing, as in, you could see that these are leaders in their chosen field.
Mm-hmm.
These are people who are called out to stand out. And we were able to, blend. There was no issues, no quarrel. When you meet people of like minds, you
Yeah.
think alike, you behave alike, you talk alike, everything is alike, and you're able to lead. We were only networking. It was fun to be together. And one of the reasons I brought you here, because I want your story to resonate with others. I want people to learn from how you've been through life, and
Mm-hmm.
you never allowed your bad experiences to keep you in a box. You had to, break out from the box to
Mm-hmm.
become your catalyst, your change agent, being an influencer in your world. What propelled you, aside from people, to becoming a coach, or what you do presently?
Mm-hmm.
You
I
still
mean,
work your 9 to 5 and do your
mhm.
business alongside, or you ventured into doing your business as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a woman of faith, right? I never go anywhere without my prayer and my Bible and a conversation with God to talk about where I am. And I remember there are a couple of occurrences in my life when my mom took sick. Um, I remember that was one situation. My mom took sick, and I found myself working at her bedside. in the hospital, and no one knew because I'm functioning at her bedside. And it was a series where I almost lost her and I didn't realize. And I looked at it and I said, I'm the one. And everyone kept coming in, and the doctors were talking to me, and the nurses were talking to me, thinking that I was a nurse too. And I found myself getting up every morning at 5 o'clock, going to the hospital, working all day by her bedside until she became well. And I said, okay, God, there's something in this that I have to learn, that I have to understand. I'm either going to be strong so that I can function on her behalf and make decisions for her, or I'm going to weep and moan and suck my thumb and stress over my mom. And then, my marriage of over 15 years fell apart too. And, they always say that losing a marriage is like death. It's like the death that you're feeling. And I really felt like I was having an outer body experience because I have
Mm.
young children, and I had to make a decision on, am I going to sit here and weep and moan and really be worried about how I'm going to function? Because I was pouring into it. I kept pouring into it, but then I was coming up empty after a while. And it's almost like you were grinding your gear without any engine oil in the middle to grease the relationship. And I said, okay, but it's done. What am I going to do about it? I have to move on. And while I was talking to my therapist, so for anyone who believes that therapy doesn't work or it's not for them, as a woman of faith, I had to do therapy too because I needed some help to navigate and really think and process the direction I was going to go into. And when the therapist said to me, so what are you going to do next? And I said, well, I'm going to fold my napkin and I'm going to move on. Like in the Bible, when Jesus left the tomb, he rested the napkin, and it was obvious that he wasn't going to come back. So when I realized that my marriage dissolved, I put my napkin nicely to the side, and I made a decision that I had to move on, because when my little ones look at me, then I know that I have to survive for them. I know that there are people leaning in on me who come to me for a conversation in the midst of me struggling and emotionally torn apart, wondering how it is the marriage I swore I would never, till death do us part. How did that happen? I got in this to stay forever, but now forever is done. Like, I didn't put a timestamp on forever, but I got up and I spoke to myself. And every day I gave myself affirmations, and I did my 21-day affirmations, and I told myself that I am, and I am enough, and I can do it. And every day when I felt like I couldn't do it was the day I got up and I did it. And I celebrated those wins, because if I didn't do it, then someone else wouldn't have been able to hear a conversation, because others behind me have gone through it, and they wouldn't even have known that I was either going through it or I had gone through it, because I made the decision to speak into my life that now this is over. I have to move forward. I have to make a decision that my life isn't done here. And I recognized that my purpose, my pain, my problems were not for me. I was selected to go through it,
Yeah.
but it was not about me. It was about me getting through it so that I could be a testimony to somebody else about the test. And I tell people all the time, if you put your problems into perspective and you perceive, the direction or the outcome in a way that is growth and developmental, then you have to find the premise that you're standing on. What is the lesson that I'm going to get out of this? Mother Teresa has a quote where she says, not verbatim, but you can't change everybody, you can't fix everything in the world, but just with doing small things you can have a series of ripples. And that's what I started doing. I started making small changes. I got up every day, I washed my face, I went to work. If I had to cry, I cried at home, until after a while the tears didn't hurt so much anymore, because I learned to tell myself that I am enough and I will be enough, and I will be able to tell somebody that I did it and you can do it too. And who can I talk off a bridge? Who can I talk out of that really depressing situation? Because going through, the dissolution of a marriage is real. It pulls you apart. I have
Sure.
friends they stay in bed, they want the lights out, they don't eat, they don't shower. It gets you there. And I made a decision that that was not going to be my story, because I was not going to let my pride of being afraid of being alone, that my story was going to be out there, or someone may know that, okay, here I am married today, not tomorrow. That was not going to be my story. It was going to be, this happened at a point in my life, but here I am now making changes so that someone else can glean from me. And
Sure.
together I can produce a level of strength and resilience to another woman or whoever that may be, to show that your life doesn't end at one stop sign.
Not
That
at
was a
all.
stop sign in my life. And then now I got to rev my engine up and I had to keep going forward. So for me, that was the ripple effect, because somewhere in the background, God already knew that I was going to be at that place and stage. But I had to step back and I had to understand, how do I cross from this darkness into my marvelous light? And I had to decide that I was going to reset my mind, guard my thoughts, because sometimes when you're going through, you can't take everything with you.
No, yeah.
You have to make a decision to travel light. So I had this broad world, and I had to start shrinking my world so that I could hear the private conversations with myself in prayer, to understand where I was going to get up and, put some structure in my life. Because, yeah, I prayed about it, but I had to get up and do something with it. I got up every day and I looked pretty. I got up every day and I had myself a calendar. Like right now, I have a tight, organized calendar where
Sure.
everything goes in on that calendar. And I tell my kids, like, we got to get our lives together. This is where we are. This is a conversation that I had to have with them. Tough conversation. But I said, okay, now we're going to structure ourselves and now we're going to function, because we're not done. I had to make a decision to rise like a phoenix and focus on what I could be, instead of worrying about what I had or what I lost.
Lost.
Because I
Yeah.
couldn't, if you think about life as a journey, you're driving. No one drives looking in only the rear view mirror. Yes,
Yeah.
you may
You'll
hit a
never move
bump in the
forward.
road. You'll never move forward, or you're gonna go over the side somewhere
Yeah,
somehow.
sure.
So I decided that I'm going to keep moving. Like, this is a storm. And if you think about a storm, you're going to drive through it. You get through it, you look behind you, it's gone. And then, you build your utmost faith and you get ready for the next thing. So I stopped looking in my rear view mirror and I kept looking ahead. And my ahead isn't done yet, because every time I get to one success, one accomplishment, I said, okay, good, we're here. Okay, now what's next? I got to this. I stopped crying. I stopped stressing. And I said, okay, now I got to organize my life. I got to put it together. And I'm getting ready for the next thing every time, because success and resilience is about being ready for the next stage in your life. When you get there, it's about being ready for growth to the next opportunity. And I frame it as, when you're trying to elevate yourself in life, what you think is your ceiling, what's most hard for you to get to, you keep working that thing, you keep digging. Some days it feels like you're digging through dry ground, but you just keep digging, you just keep working it. And one day you're going to strike oil, you're going to hit that success. But then when
Sure.
you
You're
get
gonna work
there,
it out.
your ceiling, right? What
Becomes a
was
stepping
once your
stone.
ceiling becomes your floor. And then you can tell somebody what you went through, that you used as a process. It's about the process, it's less about the destination, but
It's
your
yeah,
life is about
sure.
the process. It's about the journey. Now think about, like, when you are pressing grapes for wine. The wine is the long-term effect. The wine is the sweetness that comes out of the crushing of the grapes. And you got to be ready for your crushing, because if you're going to get to your best self, you have to go through your
The crushing.
crushing.
Sure.
Character is built in your crushing. And you have to recognize that I am here to
Wow.
go through this press. Diamonds have to go through the rough. Diamonds are in the rough, and you got to find your shine. You have to make a decision that what I'm going through is not for naught. It is not for loss. But you got to tell your mind that. You got to train your mind. And in the scripture, it tells you, by the renewing of your mind. And you have to make that 180. In my academy that we just launched, I celebrate me Olive Press
Yeah.
Academy that we just launched. It's really about that, telling people that your crushing is really about getting you to your calling.
Yeah.
And don't think about it as a problem. Think about it as, how do I go through my purpose through this problem? What do I get out of this? And who am I going to serve, being the one who has gone
Through
through
it.
this situation? Because, I show up at work, I nod and I smile, and no one would know even for the better because you hide your scars. And then the other part about it, it was I had to make a decision that I was not hiding it anymore. This is my truth. This is my reality. God called Adam out of the cool of the day because he was now hiding his character when he found out who he really was. So I had to determine that I was going to show my scars, because through my scars, I could relate to somebody else who's going through something similar, for them to understand that, listen, what you see is not what it's been. It's definitely not necessarily what I'm going through.
True.
But
Yeah.
every day I get up and I pour my olive oil on my wounds and I keep going, because I know that one success is strength, and it's a building moment to the next success. So that's the story I give people. It's not what you see on the surface. Your character, you're really living inside out. A lot of times people look at us from outside in, but you have to live your life inside
Inside out.
out and focus on the journey, not because sometimes the destination is structured and built out as you're going through the process and through the purposes. Don't be so focused on the end result, because sometimes life takes you to through curves and turns, and when you think that you're going to end up here at point A, the experiences that you're going through take you to something much more excellent, to point B. And problems are like that stone. I went back to ripples that I mentioned earlier. When you drop a stone in a puddle of water, you see the ripples.
Effective.
Problems are that stone that drop into your life that cause the ripple effect. Because if you did not have that problem, you would not necessarily have taken the direction you would have taken to get yourself in to the next level. So it stretches you. Our lives are like a rubber band, and if we allow, and yeah, it hurts. We don't trivialize what we're going through, because our pain is our pain. But the point is, don't stay there. Find your village, find an accountability partner, find someone you can talk to, because sometimes you just don't want to do anything. Sometimes you just want to be there, but then you can't be stuck in park for too long, because if
Ah, that's
our
right.
lives are
You
about
got to
adding
move.
value, we have to keep moving. And sometimes we take a licking, but we keep on ticking. You fight with your eyes up. You fight looking up so that you can see where you're headed. You see what you're fighting. We have, situations, people who are coming up against us. That's okay. The ones who are coming up against us most are the ones who are helping us to push us closer to
To our
our purpose.
goals.
Oftentimes
Yeah.
it's not our friends. It's the
Mm-mm.
ones that we have to get through. It's the ones who are unlovable. It's the ones who are unlikable. I had to learn how to pray and love and smile with those that I'm going through them too, because this too shall pass. And I remind them, I said,
Sure.
never burn your bridges, because guess what? You may have to cross over this way, and I may be the bridge you're going to have to cross.
True.
So, I tell people, it's not about it. Yeah, you feel it, it hurts, but it's what you get when you get out of this. That old song that grandma used to sing that says, "How I got over." My soul looks back and wonders how I got over, because after a while, when you build up that strength and courage, it doesn't hurt anymore. You don't even realize that you're going through, because my friends ask me, how do I do it? And my answer is, it's not without faith, and it's not without prayer, and it's not without just laying it and trusting God with my life. I get up every day and I say, God, you set my schedule, you set the order of events for me, because that is my life. My faith is built on Christ. So, and I have my village. I have a bunch of people in my life who pull my coattail and pull me together when I seem like I'm veering off my path. So we cannot do this alone. We cannot go through our hurts and our pains alone. Our hurts are not for us to bottle it up and sit in a corner and embrace them. No, you embrace it in a way where you release it so that someone else can see the muscle and the strength that you get out of it to move on. Because I remember when we were going through the separation, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe for a minute, and I just stopped. Everything just stopped for me for a day or two, and I was meditating, and it just dawned on me that I was doing it all along. I was keeping it together all along. I just did not notice that it was happening, because when you've gone through enough, one challenge is evidence that you can get through it to be ready for the next
Oh,
challenge.
next word.
Because as long as you're here on this earth, challenges are going to come. So
Sure.
I look at it, pain, rejection, children acting up. I mean, all of those things are deciding factors on where you take it and how you take it to the next level. Get ourselves a mentor, get ourselves a coach, because that's why we're here, to remind people that our problems are not for us. There's a
Yeah,
purpose in
true. You just
them.
said it. Or we go through those challenges because of the people
Hmm.
behind us. It
Yeah,
says, no pain, no gain. If you've not been through your tests, you can't have a testimony. How would people ever
exactly,
believe that you're a great coach if you've never been through that journey? It's not
exactly.
possible. There's a saying, I want to just read something. It says, what separates those who thrive from those who merely survive
Right.
is the problem they face.
Mm-hmm.
It says that's the reason, that John Maxwell was saying that was the reason he wrote the book Failing Forward. The
Yeah.
last time we had a discussion with him, he said, keep failure and success together. For failure keeps you humble.
Yes.
But failure and success being together keeps you resilient. So
Yes.
in life, you've got to be resilient. You've got to just, fire hard. And it says life is filled with ups and downs. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that what most of us want is up, 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 up.
Yeah.
No, down, down, down. And it's never possible. Life is with ups and downs. You will
Mm-hmm.
have it up today, tomorrow you might have it low. Tomorrow you can have it up, you can have it down. And it says if you don't pass a class, you don't pass the test you're going through, God will not move you to the next stage in
That's true.
life. So
That's
whatever
true.
we go through, we need to, put ourselves together to go through our process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once we are able to accept the process and say, Lord, what do you want me to learn in this moment? Because there's
Mm-hmm.
always something for us to learn in order for us to be able to get to the next stage. If you do
Absolutely.
not learn what you need to learn, you can't afford to move. You'll be stagnant. And what causes anyone who stays in a place for too long? You
Right.
smell and you stink. He said that's the reason why the Black River, or what is it called, the bitter. He said it does not move to others. It
Right.
stays on its own. If you have a water in a gutter and the water is not flowing, after a while it's going to
I'm
stink.
stagnant.
But a
Right.
water that flows onto others would always be refreshing. The bad
Mm-hmm.
water will flow out, and a cleaner one and a better one will come. He said,
Right.
how do you do good when things are so bad? That's when we are expected to show more good and not look inward. Because a lot of times people go through situations that are really challenging. And guess what? They bottle it up. They don't want to talk to anyone. They keep
Yeah.
it to themselves. How would you? A lot of times you go through that problem because God wants you to reach out. I know of a pastor who was trusting God for the fruit of the womb. Guess what? People were always coming to him for prayers. He was praying
Mm-hmm.
for them and they were getting babies, but he never heard one. So sometimes what you're going through is what God wants you to use to teach others to stay in
Mm-hmm.
the faith. And guess what? Because he cherished those moments, those process, God blessed him with his own baby. He said we can do everything in our power to avoid negative experience, but
Mm-hmm.
they will always find their way to us. You can
Mm-hmm.
avoid it. As the only way you can avoid negative experiences is only when you're dead.
That's right.
That means
Absolutely.
you stop breathing, you're no longer living. But as long as you're living, you cannot wish it out. You cannot avoid it.
Yeah.
You would the best. That's why I said it's good we embrace it early enough. I always tell people, I tell God to give me the grace to bear my problems, to go through my process. Now that I'm very strong, because it says when you run from a battle, you will live to fight the battle
By the
tomorrow.
next one.
And
Yep.
you don't want to get to a time you want to fight the battles. You don't have any strength in you any longer.
Right.
So why not fight your battles now? And tomorrow you are relaxing. The Bible
Train
says,
hard.
as long as you live, there's no time to relax. It's
Yes.
battle. It's a war zone. We're in a war zone. We are fighting one battle. We're overcoming. We're moving to the next level. As we are rejoicing in the next level, another battle is coming. It is
Mm-hmm.
never ending. The
Mm-hmm.
process is never ending. When it comes to pains and problems, you can never expect it or wish it away. It will
Right.
surely be there. No one likes it when they are in the middle of bad experience. It's usually just painful, and you can't wish it away. All
True.
we can ask God good management of bad experiences to
Yeah.
get to where God wants us to be.
Yeah.
So that's all we need to ask. You said a lot, Camille. You were you were a teacher. I'll tell you. You spoke so great. I was like, when are you going to take a break? You kept on speaking and talking. These were all the things I got from you. I'm just trying to wrap it up. And I actually want to say when tough times come,
Mm-hmm.
many people don't respond well. How
Right.
are you responding in the situations you're finding yourself? Are you being bitter or are you better? Is
Mm-hmm.
it propelling you to growing or is it limiting you? You need to ask yourself that question. And
Yeah.
sincerely, I don't need an answer from you right away, but you need to answer yourself and get your answers and know if
Right.
this is moving you to your purpose. Because a lot of times we don't discover our purpose in being in our comfort zone.
Right.
When we get to the zone where it's not comfortable, that's when purpose is discovered. That's when you put your creative cap. That's when you start thinking, all right. And I pray, and he said, when tough times come, many people don't respond well. Some seem to have the motto that I once saw on a bumper sticker. It says, when the going gets tough, it is time to escape. No, what a shame. Learning the law of pain is essential for
Mm-hmm.
anyone who wants to grow. Most successful people will point to the hard times in their lives as the key point in their journey to
Right.
development. So if you are dedicated to growth, then you must become committed to managing your bad experiences well. You must be a great
Wow.
manager, managing your bad experiences well, because they become your stepping stone. They
Yep.
become the starting point for you to getting up. And when you get up, it becomes another level for you, another ceiling,
Oh
another
yeah.
level for you to step on to move to the next level. Life is in stages. You keep moving and you keep moving. You never stop. And
Absolutely.
that's why
Yeah.
there's this saying that says by Martin Luther. He said, just keep moving. Even if you're crawling, it's okay.
Just
You
keep
have to crawl,
moving.
if you have to run, if you have to work, but just by all means, keep
Just keep
moving.
moving.
Do not
Yeah.
be stagnant. Do not stay put and said, this challenge is taking me over and I cannot contain, I cannot go further. The moment you make such decision, you're defeated already.
Yeah.
But you got to keep going. Thank you so much, Camille.
You're
We would
welcome.
probably
Just
want to
you're
ask you,
welcome.
what's your last message for the audience? Because you said it all. I wanted to ask you what's your greatest achievements when you had bad experiences. Well, how did you manage? What did you do and everything? You said everything. So I wanted to break you. I said, it's okay. You asked, I don't know whether you saw my questions and everything. It was like you were following, you were following, like, oh my God, I don't know how to do it. I wanted to stop you and say, come and take a break. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. It was awesome. But just a minute break. I want to take some liquid, some water. Just thank you so much. Yeah. So what's your last message to the audience? It's time. It's supposed to be a 30 minutes show, but you got talking like you were an auto run, and I didn't want to break you.
Yeah.
So it was awesome talking to you.
I would just say, if you can't figure out your purpose, just start with your passion. Like start working, just as you said, because oftentimes your passion will lead you to your purpose, but don't stop there. Just keep moving. And your destiny, don't let pride and your dignity get in the way of your destiny.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. I want to thank all our viewers everywhere in the world connecting. I want to say thank you. And if you missed the show, please go back. It's a show, it's a live session. You really need to go back often and often and often again. It was mind blowing for me. I learned a lot from Camele. I have my book filled up, and sincerely, I do not take this for granted. Thank you for honoring us this evening, for coming on the show. We appreciate you, and my love to your family. Keep being strong, keep being who you are called to be, keep fly and keep soaring higher. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day. Bye until we meet in our next episode.
God bless you. Bye
Bye.
bye.